Minnesota has one of the country's highest proportion of refugees. Most of us don't know our newest neighbors. They've come a generation ago from the Holocaust. They're from Cambodia, Bosnia, Rwanda, Argentina, Congo, North Korea. There are Native Americans, Sri Lankans, and people from Sudan. Through exposure to this exhibit, people from Minnesota will begin to understand a little more about the bravery and the courage that these newest Minnesotans bring with them. Our idea is an interactive exhibit called Tents of Witness, Genocide, and Conflict. We've created an exhibit of tents that are like those used in refugee camps all around the world. The idea is to educate people about conflicts that have happened both in the past, those that are happening today, and how each and every one of us has an opportunity to advocate for human rights. World Without Genocide is a human rights organization. The people who've worked on these tents are survivors of these genocides, or they are refugees who fled as violence was erupting in their countries of origin.
I was in Bosnia during the war. Genocide meant loss of friends, loss of connections between people, loss of home, and all the material things you accumulate through your life that you realize later are not as important.
The place where I was born doesn't exist anymore. I have an area where I was born, but I have nowhere to go home to. The conflict has stolen that away from us. Being able to be a part of World Without Genocide and be a part of this tent gives me the opportunity to make a difference and make a change. The conflict minerals that are being used in Congo fuel this technology age that we're in, and no one knows they're feeding the conflict. So hopefully after they view this tent and they do the research, it'll make people be more aware and be more conscious of the decisions that they're making and the companies they choose to support.
Our hope is that these traveling tents of witness, as they visit different communities, will really help bring those communities together. The way that people become afraid, or the way that they pigeonhole others and think that they can treat them differently, I think that's a conversation that's going to happen with these tents.
On a personal level, I think it will have a really strong effect.
The tents tell three different stories. When you enter, the left-hand wall describes the particular culture before the violence. The facing wall is the nature of the conflict, what happened to the particular groups of people who were targeted. And then on the right-hand side of the tent is the situation after the violence ended, where people fled, what the challenges were, how they went on with their lives.
In this tent we try to portray other things. How do they live there? What kind of stuff they enjoy, sports? What is this country famous for? It feels liberating, but it's also difficult to know that it's being recorded somewhere. For next 100 years, your country will be known as a country where conflict happened, and I would love them to know it because of any other thing.
I don't have delusions of grandeur. I know that this tent isn't going to fix Congo. It's not going to fix the problem. But what I hope is that at least people be aware that there is a problem.
For many of us, we don't have a personal experience with genocide. And yet, genocide has touched the lives of most groups of people on the planet. So these tents begin that conversation. These tents allow us to understand, to respect, to have empathy for those people who otherwise are exactly like us. They have the same hopes, the same dreams for themselves, for their children, for lives of peace, and for lives of hope.
My name is Margo O-Dell.
My name is Ellen Kennedy. You can vote for our idea at mnideaopen.org.